What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my subscribers. If you're new, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I got a lot of crazy stories on here, so you can sign up and binge watch, and you won't be disappointed. And also in the comments, like I said before, I'm going to pin a donation link to those of you who have donated to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. And once again, this is a prison story. I know it's everybody's favorites. This one is actually going to be about a CO that I used to work with at Central Arizona Detention Center in Florence, Arizona. We used to carpool together, and I actually started there with this guy. We went through the 5 weeks of training there when we had initially started, and he was a real cool dude, real funny guy. He was a really big guy too. He actually he was from New York, from the Bronx, and we're gonna call him B. That was the first initial of his last name. And like I said, we used to carpool. He was a big B, a big brother. I mean, and we we started on swing shift, and we went through training together. Like I said, he dang near crippled me during self-defense. We were like kneeing each other in the thighs, and man, this dude was big, about 6'1", about 315. And I don't remember if I mentioned it, but he played a couple of seasons in the NFL. Actually, he played one season for the Jets. He played fullback. So he said he was a little bit lighter when he played. He was about 245. And he got cut at the end of the season. He showed me his NFL ID too, so I knew he wasn't BSing. He showed me his official New York Jets NFL ID. It was pretty cool. He said the following season he tried out with the Buccaneers, and he made it all through training camp and then got cut. They told him he was too slow. So that was the end of his NFL career. But anyway, like I said, he dang near killed me in self-defense training because he kneed me in my thigh and dang near crippled me, man. I got him back pretty good, man, but my leg was sore for about a week. But anyway, so he was a cool dude. He was kind of a sneaky, scandalous dude too. I got to keep it real. He was always sneaking off after we would get to our carpool point, and I would drop him off to his car, or he would drop me off to my car. And I've kind of felt bad for his wifey because she was always calling me like, do you know where B's at? He didn't come home. Did he say he was going anywhere? And like the next day, I'll be like, bro, like, I don't know where you running off to, man, but wifey's like calling me looking for you, and you got to give me a heads up or something, man, But anyway, he was a pretty chill dude, and he was kind of a gentle giant until he pissed him off. I seen him get mad a couple times at the prison, and people got hurt when he got mad. The first story, he got in an altercation on the rec yard. I believe it was a 500 rec yard with the Alaskan contract inmates, and the individual that was involved was about his size, maybe even a little bit bigger. He was I don't remember if he was Native American or if he was like a native Eskimo, but he was a pretty big dude. And basically, what happened was the inmate was refusing to come off the rec yard. He was demanding to talk to a sergeant, said he wanted to be moved to a different unit. I guess he was having problems, or something, some kind of issues. And he was hanging on to the rec yard fence, and he wouldn't let go. And B, he tried to pull him off of it a couple times, and the dude was like just like yelling at him, telling him like, get the fuck off me, like I'm not going anywhere, right? And I mean, I don't know if I would have approached it the same way, to tell the truth. Like, I would have probably just told the dude like, hey, I'm gonna call a sergeant or lieutenant to come talk to you, and I would have probably just let them deal with him, I mean, it was. I don't feel like it was maybe really necessary for him to get physical with the inmate, but for whatever reason, he, like I said, when he would get pissed, man, he was. It was kind of hard to stop him, and so, like I said, he was trying to pull the inmate off the fence, and the inmate got mad and headbutted him. And when he headbutted him, I don't remember if he knocked his tooth out or if he chipped one of his front teeth. And man, that set him off, of course. I mean, his tooth just got chipped, right? So he got mad. And like I said, the dude was hanging on to the rec yard fence like this, right? He got mad and he just kind of goes like this. And boom, like hammer fisted the dude's forearm and broke the dude's arm. No joke. And the dude let go, of course, and was like screaming and like, but they actually started fighting. Dude still fought him. And I guess they were going toe to toe. Like I said, the dude was even bigger than him, but they were going toe to toe for I think like about 2 or 3 minutes until backup got there. And he said, man, it seemed like forever. Like he said, he was gassing out, and he said he pretty much like he felt like he wanted to fight. And from the video, I didn't get to see the video, but from the video that you know, supervisors and other COs that I talked to said it looked like Brody, B got the better of the inmate, but the inmate landed some good shots on him too. And like he said, he was gassing out at the end. So he said he was glad when that backup showed up. So another time we were actually working together in 1000 unit with the DC contract inmates, and they were mostly all lifers, like in there for like mostly murder, armed robbery, some sex offenders. The population was about 99% black, from the DC area, and maybe about 1% Puerto Rican or Latino, like Cuban or something else, Dominican. One of the DC inmates was out working in the hallway. He was what's called an ice porter. He was his job was basically he had six ice chests that he would fill up and he would put in each pod. And this was mainly during the summertime, because it gets pretty hot in there, and so all the inmates want ice to put in their drinks or whatever in their cups. So this dude was always running late. Like because basically he's supposed to be done with his job before lockdown, because they prefer to have all inmates locked down for count. They didn't want inmates running around from pod to pod or anything like that. So once again, this dude was running late, and he was still scooping ice, and it was pretty much count was about to start in about like a couple of minutes. And so a couple of us told him like, hey man, you need to like wrap it up, you can finish that after count. And he pretty much ignored us. And we were about to call a supervisor, and B was like, nah, don't call no stripe, man, I got this. We're like, all right. So B yells over to him, yo man, you need to go to your pod, you can finish up after count. And the dude was wearing some earphones, but pretty sure he could hear us, So he ignored B, and so like he kept scooping ice like nothing. And so this dude was pretty big too. He was pretty swole, but B was bigger than him, definitely heavier than him, a little bit bigger than him. But the inmate was pretty swole. He was pretty big too. And so B got pissed because dude ignored him. So he walked over to him and he pulled one of the dude's things out of his ear like that, right? And he says, yo man, lock the fuck down, you can finish that shit after count. And the dude just kind of looked at him and smirked and like put his earphone back in and started scooping ice again. So the next thing B did was actually he yelled at him again. He said, yo, lock the fuck down. And a dude just ignored him again, right? So the next thing D did, like, really kind of shocked us, because what he did was he kind of just real fast, like in one fast motion, he kind of like dropped his base, like dropped his hips, and just goes like that, boom, and hit the dude like he was delivering a like a devastating block to a linebacker, you know. Probably one of his old fullback, you know, memories, you know, his fullback moves. And no joke, dude went flying like about 10 feet and hit the ground hard. And you know, he got up pretty quick, but he got up and kind of like stumbled a little bit, like he was dazed. I think his head hit the ground. And he kind of started moving around like he was like ready to throw down, like he wanted a box, you know. And then B kind of went towards him and told him, lock the fuck down before you get fucked up. And I guess dude thought about it and you know, kind of stumbled around. And he was like, you know, obviously I'm not going to say the word. I'm going to substitute the word ninja. But he said, yo, ninja, you can't be pushing me like that in front of, you know, in front of my ninjas, you know, in front of my homies, you know. And B was like, yo, man, I don't give a fuck. He was like, get in the fucking pod now, you know. And, you know, homeboy pretty much like, you know, he complied after that. He was like, he was mumbling under his breath. He was pissed and stuff, but his ass, he went in his pod and he locked down, you know. I guess he didn't want to take it any further, you know. And which was kind of surprising because the DC inmates were known for their violence, you know, and most of them carried knives, you know, homemade shanks. So we kind of told them, like, man, we're going to be watching your back for a while because, you know, we were kind of worried this dude might try to retaliate on him or something, but he never did. I guess he just wanted to forget about it, you know, didn't want anybody asking him what happened or anything like that. So the last story about B is actually a funny one. And so, like, one day, I think we were still on second shift. And, you know, we were walking out to his car. Luckily, it was his car because this boy was stanky. And I'm going to tell you in a minute why. So we get to his car and he was like, D, he's like, man, I got to tell you what happened today on the 500 rec yard. You know, it was the same rec yard with the Alaskan inmates. And so he told me he was on the rec yard and, you know, oh, real quick about the Alaskan inmates. They hated to be in Arizona, obviously because of the heat and because they were so far away from their, you know, from their home. And it wasn't just native Alaskans. A lot of the Alaskan inmates were white, black, Hispanic, you know, even had some Russians, you know, because Alaska's kind of close to Russia. You know, like probably dudes that moved there for jobs, you know, or whatever, and ended up, you know, getting arrested for a serious crime, you know, because a lot of the Alaskans were doing some long sentences too, like life sentences and stuff. And so anyway, he was on the 500 rec yard, and it was pretty hot. It was like during the summer, and everything was going good. He said till he started getting bubble guts, and he said he was like, "Oh shit," because of course we were short staffed that day, like always. So he started calling for a CO or a supervisor, anybody to come give him a break. You know, he said it was kind of he didn't say it was an emergency, but he said it's you know, it's urgent. I need a restroom break. And people can be dicks sometimes too. Like some of the COs were probably laughing, like knowing that he needed to go number 2, that he needed to take a shit, because we can like when we're working the rec yard, we could use the inmate bathroom, but we're only supposed to take a piss. Like we're not supposed to shit in there because number 1, the door doesn't lock. And, you know, you can be easily attacked when you got your pants down around your ankles taking a shit. And that's actually when a lot of inmates choose to attack other inmates, is when they're taking a shit, because you're really vulnerable because you got your damn pants around your ankles. It's hard for you to fight back, you can't move. If you stand up, you're gonna stumble and fall over, right? But and also because we're not supposed to leave the inmates unattended like that. Um, so basically, he was told that there was nobody available, and so he was like, "Oh shit," because it started getting worse. Like I don't know if you've ever had bubble guts, but it gets worse every time it comes back. That comes back like maybe every 5-10 minutes, depending on how bad whatever it is you have. And so he said it was getting worse, so he was like starting to panic. So he, like I said, he didn't want to use the inmate bathroom, and so like after about 20 minutes, he said he couldn't hold it. It was getting to like emergency proportions, like uh DEFCON 6 or whatever. So he said he clenched his substantially large ass cheeks, his own words, and he started walking towards the inmate bathroom, like, kind of clenching his ass cheeks and hoping that nobody noticed he was walking funny. So he said, he finally made it to the inmate bathroom and he knocked on the door, and luckily there was nobody in there. So he rushed in there, and he said he could already feel it like starting to come out. Oh, because I forgot to mention, as he was walking towards the inmate bathroom, he sharted. Like he couldn't hold it, and he let one out. And he said he felt it come out, and he could feel it like filling up his drawers, and like starting to leak through. So he rushed into the bathroom, and he said first he started removing his boots, and he said he could feel it. Like he said it had even leaked down to his socks. Like he could feel it in his socks. So he said his socks were brown and soggy when he pulled them off. So he knew it was going to be bad. So he then started to carefully remove his pants, so to not get them soiled, because he didn't think it had soaked through yet, right? So he pulled off his huge tidy whities, and this is actually he described it this way too. He's a crazy dude, he was laughing while he was telling me, and he said they were heavy, like they were full. I know that's nasty, but I'm trying to be as descriptive as I can, and he said they were overflowing, like it was leaking, like chocolate ice cream. And so he said as he was doing this, he was holding the door with his foot, or he was leaning against it so that nobody would, come in, because like I said, there was no lock on the door. And a couple of times inmates knocked on the door, and he was like, "Hold on, I'm in here," And he said one of the inmates said, "Man, you ain't even supposed to be using our bathroom, CO." So he was like, he basically told the inmate to fuck off, like don't worry about it. So right there, he pretty much, the inmates knew something was up, right? So he said he tried to flush his drawers down the toilet, but he said it clogged up. They wouldn't go down. So he had to pull them out with his hands, his shitty drawers, had to pull them back out of the toilet. And then he, along with his soggy ass brown shitty socks, he stuffed them to the bottom of the trash can under all the paper towels and toilet paper. So after cleaning himself off, excuse me, washing his hands thoroughly, he dressed himself back up, and he peeked out the door to see if anybody was, gonna see him come out, right? And of course, some inmates did, but they played it off like they weren't watching him, I guess. So he, he crept out of there and then just, try to return to his duties and try to play it off. But as always, when you're a CO, Like I said, inmates are always watching. They're always watching, analyzing every move. So after about 5 minutes, and he headed all like clear to the other side of the rec yard so he could be as far away from the inmate bathroom as possible, you know? So after about 5 minutes, he heard a commotion by the bathroom, and he was like, "Oh shit," literally. So he tried to ignore it, but he kept hearing like just inmates yelling and laughing and stuff like that. And so he knew it was up. He knew the jig was up, right? So he was looking over there, and he heard an inmate yelling and holding up what looked like his shitty drawers. He heard him yelling, "Yo, whose giant shitty ass drawers are these?" And he tried to like walk away and act like like he didn't hear it. And one of the inmates yelled, "Hey, these draws belong to the big ass CO." And they pointed at him, and they were like holding him up, right? And so he tried denying it, but of course they weren't having it. They were like falling on the ground, laughing and shit, saying, "Yeah, these are yours, man. Ain't nobody else out here got a booty this size, or draws this size." And so, I mean, he was like so embarrassed, of course. He was like saying, "Man, I don't ever want to work that unit again, man." And he pretty much, I think that same day, he didn't tell the unit manager why, but he put in for a transfer to a different unit, right? But it took a couple of weeks, of course, like those things usually do. So, man, the inmates, man, they wouldn't let him downplay that, man. They were calling him tidy whities or shitty drawers, and man, the car ride home was bad, man. Like, we had to ride with the windows down, and I was like, man, I had my shirt up like this, like it was stanky, but man, I was laughing the whole way home, man. And he was always an interesting person to talk to and an interesting person to work with. But that's it for now. I might have some more stories about Big B, and till the next video, man. That's it. Your homie Big Cisco. Peace.